Some more ideas for you on how to write a book. A fascinating topic, really. Well, at least it is if you decided to write one. So my first piece of advice here is avoid using the word I. In other words, I think this, I did that, I. Because actually, when you're writing, you're not writing for yourself, or at least you shouldn't be. You should be writing for the reader. So actually, unless you're some sort of highly famous person and you're writing an autobiography or a memoir or something, then don't say I, because what we're talking about is broad issues, different things, and of course you don't know who the reader is. So write for the reader, not for yourself. In a related point, I would suggest that you avoid referencing things that are all about you selling things, such as your website, your company, or any other form of self-promotion, really. It just doesn't sit well. What you should be doing is making universally interesting points about business and giving good examples and interesting stimulation, provocations, all that sort of thing. And always remember, it's not about you, it's about the reader. Now, if you've got promotional material like that, things that you want to get across, put them in case histories or in the appendix or something like that, but don't weave them into the main narrative because it interrupts your line of argument and it also comes across as pretty egocentric. So keep that stuff away from it. Now, moving forward in time, when you've finished your book, I strongly recommend that you go back through the whole thing again, because actually you need to remove everything that doesn't aid clarity. In other words, you're very likely to have repeated things, to have waffled on, to have taken far too long to explain a point, when in fact you didn't really need to. So you need to trim that material out. Now, a good rule for self-editing is to ask yourself, can this thing be misunderstood? And if the answer is yes, then change it, because your job as a writer is to communicate clearly and effectively with somebody that you will never meet in all probability. And this is the knack about good writing, is to consider, well, this person, I don't know who they are, I've never met them, but presumably they're attracted by the title and the theme of the book. Therefore, I need to allow for the fact that I don't know who they are, and therefore make everything as clear as I possibly can to as wide an audience as possible. One particular thing that I want to throw in with regard to how to write a book in a decent style is a particular bugbear of mine, and that is the exclamation mark. Now, the exclamation mark, I think, should be totally avoided. What an exclamation mark is trying to do is to let the reader know that apparently this thing is really funny. So it's got a little bit of value, if you like, when you're writing narrative. In other words, something fictional or a quick example of speech. But it doesn't really have a place at all in writing as in business writing, because really what it does is it lets the reader know, or think, if you like, that you think that this thing is amazing, this piece of information or this fact or whatever. So you put an exclamation mark after it. But really all it does, it just undermines your credibility. It makes everything that you're saying seem less significant and more trivial, in fact. So, strong advice, cut out all the exclamation marks from your writing.